Listen, I'm the master of sound quality. People like my music. I'm hardcore, fierce, and sexy. And you better bow to me.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce, and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about the gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk and doubt it, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati.
You're watching the MC Too Tall Show. I am your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host, MC Too Tall. Now we're going to talk about crime. It's a subject we're all too familiar with. Crime. Crime runs rampant because of the Democrats, and lots of crime in New York. And, well, the most recent incident that happened on the Charlotte, North Carolina light rail, where an innocent, sweet, young, innocent lady from the Ukraine was stabbed in the neck by DeCarlos Brown, falls right into the lap of Democrats running the city of Charlotte in the state of North Carolina, and a DEI hire of a judge that released him after his 14th offense. There's a lot going on here in New York. It's a laundry list of problems that go on here in New York. So while the Charlotte incident falls right into the lap of that unnamed DEI hired judge, Joel Stein, governor of North Carolina, and V. Lyles, or Vi Lyles, mayor of Charlotte, we have, as I said, a laundry list of problems that occurred here in New York City because of the Democrats here in New York City and New York State. Our mayor, Eric Adams, Mr. Nightlife, always up in the club, partying, rushing out to the Hamptons to pander for votes, always at the hookah bar, getting his party on, getting his drink on, while the city falls apart. Up in Albany, we have a huckster of a governor named Kathy Hochul, threatening an expensive congestion price, taking it off the table, putting it back at a reduced rate, but it's nonetheless an expense the people of New York City didn't ask for, didn't want, and certainly do not need. We could take it back. We could take it back to New Year's Day 2024. A ruthless gang of 5 Venezuelans jumped two police officers and beat up on them. They all get apprehended. Alvin Bragg releases them. Another Democrat. Somebody concentrating more on Donald Trump than these vile criminals who disrespectfully flipped the bird at cameras upon their release.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
We could go on to other incidents.
Last bet.
We could go on to other incidents like shortly around New Year's, girl on the train is set on fire by a vicious Guatemalan illegal alien, a trespasser. He sets this woman on fire and then sits outside the train to watch her burn to death. We could talk about Jordan Neely, a ruthless, mentally ill menace to society who nearly kidnapped a child, punched women in the face, threw people on subway tracks, and one morning bumps into a baby carriage and threatens the life of the baby and the mother. And we could talk about how Daniel Penny intervened, saved the lives of everyone in that entire train car, and got thrown in jail for his troubles. Ran through a legal system illegally, or at least unethically. This person should not have sat a single day in jail. But they tried to pen him as a vigilante. They tried to pen him as a racist. Thank God he was set free. You want to know what's racist? Putting somebody who is not a violent criminal or a repeat offender in jail for exercising his constitutional Second Amendment right. A person who has been a law-abiding citizen his whole life, I'm talking about Dexter Taylor, whose apartment got raided and he got dragged out in cuffs. And he sits in Rikers Island on this very day, serving a 10-year sentence while criminals go free. We live in a city where they lock up toothpaste and underarm deodorant, but not ruthless, crazed criminals. We could talk about the Kissimmee Park monster, a Venezuelan rapist who kidnapped two adolescents, a boy and a girl, tied them to a tree, and raped the girl. I believe the girl was only 13 years old, and he raped this 13-year-old girl. And we could go on. This was all on the Democrats. This was all on Huckster Hochul and Mr. Nightlife Eric Adams. This happened on their watch. These brutal, heinous crimes. We could talk about the previous mayor, Bill de Blasio. While the city's falling apart, he wants to have a pissing contest with the president and paint all kinds of virtual signaling murals on the pavement in front of Trump Plaza, just to be spiteful to Donald Trump, while the city falls apart and crumbles around him. And who carries the torch? Once again, Mr. Nightlife over there, Eric Adams. We could talk about how a former mayoral candidate got arrested for intervening with ICE, but he was released by the orders of Kathy Huckster Hochul. And like Democrats have been doing lately, she's over there cursing in interviews to look tough in defense of unlawful, unruly, violent, dangerous people who should not have been in this country in the first place. There's a thin line between civil liberties and violating that of your neighbor. There is a difference between a law-abiding citizen and the riffraff. What applies to the riffraff does not apply to law-abiding human beings. Everyone knows it's different. Two different elements get two different treatments. If you're living lawfully, morally, and ethically, you're not supposed to get nabbed by the cops and thrown in jail. You're not supposed to be nabbed by the authorities, be it city, state, or federal. And if the government is being run right, you're not. In Donald Trump's case, or in cases where cities and states are run by Republicans, law-abiding citizens are not getting nabbed as if they're riffraff. The riffraff is getting nabbed because they are riffraff. And they've proven to be, as Joe Biden once said, beyond the pale. Beyond the pale, and as I would always say, beyond human comprehension. I mean, we could go on to other things, other vile crimes against humanity, animal rights violations by the government. It was Kathy Huckster Hochul's stormtroopers that stormed in on an animal sanctuary and killed Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon in cold blood. We have a mayoral candidate that is all for animal rights. He is the only mayoral candidate for animal rights. His name is Curtis Sliwa. He also happens to be the Republican candidate for mayor. And he's talking about a 1-2 punch. And that is not a 1-2 punch on the law-abiding, fiscally overwhelmed citizens of New York City. He's talking about the 1-2 punch on the Democrats that have had their icy grip around the throats of the city of New York ever since about 2014, when Bill de Blasio got sworn in. We have been in a state of disarray ever since Bill de Blasio became mayor of New York. And Eric Adams just carried the torch of de Blasio. He was supposed to be something different, something refreshing. And I knew he wouldn't be an improvement at all over Bill de Blasio. I didn't think things would actually get worse, but they did. And he's got the goal to run for re-election. And you have people saying that Eric Adams beat Curtis Sliwa to become mayor in the first place. And so he's already got a victory over Curtis Sliwa. Yeah, he got that victory over Curtis Sliwa, and then he served as mayor. And he proved that as mayor, he sucks. Now it's time to try something different. Now it's time to right that wrong and correct the mistake of voting for somebody other than Curtis Sliwa by voting for Curtis Sliwa this time around. Kind of like in 1993, when David Dinkins, 4 years after beating Giuliani, lost to Giuliani. Same difference. And here's where the 1-2 punch comes in. 1-2 punch comes in. This year, Curtis Sliwa gets elected mayor. Next year, Elise Stefanik knocks Huckster Hochul out the box and gets elected as governor of New York State. And we need that. We need this 1-2 punch that Curtis Sliwa speaks of. And Curtis Sliwa is backed up by prominent figures. Well, I'm someone of prominence, so you could start with me. I've backed up Curtis Sliwa, given monetary donations to the campaign, because I believe in Curtis Sliwa, and I believe in no-kill shelters. And every shelter run by the city of New York will be a no-kill shelter under a Mayor Curtis Sliwa. And I will not tolerate my comment section being flooded with Mayor Mamdani. Say it. Don't you dare have the balls to tell me, quote, Mayor Mamdani, say it, unquote. That will earn you a knuckle sandwich, boy. That surely will definitely earn you a knuckle sandwich, courtesy of me, MC Too Tall. So this 1-2 punch, when Huckster Hochul loses royally next year to Elise Stefanik, we're going to have safe streets, subways, schools, and local businesses. All public areas of the city will be safe to walk around in all hours of the day and night. Once we get people whose priority is public safety in office. And if you want to talk about dedication to public safety, Curtis Sliwa has been dedicated to public safety longer than Zoran Mamdani has even been alive, and that is fact. Go look up the timeline when Curtis Sliwa founded the Guardian Angels, and then look up the birth year of Zoran Mamdani. It will blow your mind. And we're not ready for a mayor born in the frickin' 1990s anyway. We don't need that shit. We don't need that garbage. His brain is undeveloped. It's mush. And you gotta understand, people with socialist ideals aren't naive. They're not looking for a better place for all. in their environment, they're looking to destroy the environment for their own gains, for their own power. You take a bunch of things away from the independent sovereign person, then you start offering them stuff that they earned on their own in the past but have lost. You then have control over them. And then they never become independent or sovereign ever again. And that's what communism and socialism is all about. Control over the people. Having control over the basic things people need to survive. In a constitutional republic, everybody's got the opportunity not just to survive, but to thrive. And that's why I support the Republicans, not the Democrats. And Jesse Kelly brought up an interesting point. Shout out to Jesse Kelly. He says a lot of people keep making the mistake of using the term soft on crime. Soft on crime, soft on crime. Soft on murderers, soft on robbers, soft on rapists. They're not soft on crime. They are protagonists, antagonists, perpetuators of the crime. The Democratic Party is the party of rape. The party of rape, murder, fiscal drainage, and identity politics. That is what the Democratic Party has become. And this is exactly why crime runs rampant because of the Democrats. Crime runs rampant because of the Democrats. Because the Democrats want the crime. You keep people afraid in their homes and convince them that you are somehow the criminal whisperer that's going to talk nicely to them so that at least on this day they won't mug the people. Then you have a control over the people. You are a communist. You are Che Guevara. You are Fidel Castro. You are Chairman Mao. You are Stalin. And we cannot have a city run by Stalin. And that's an important thing. We can't have... We're going to have a jihadist Stalin for mayor if Zoran Mamdani wins. We're done with this. We're done electing people just because of their skin tone. Just to prove how non-racist we are. Being protective of yourself, your property, your family, and your belongings does not make you a racist. If you see somebody with messed up hair, all ashy, odorous, mumbling to themselves, sooty in one way, shape, or form, whether it's ashy on a dark complexion person or sooty on a light complexion person, which may or may not actually be a white person, you're not a racist if you're apprehensive about sitting near that person. You're just being cautious. People have the right to be cautious when they perceive someone as a criminal element. That doesn't mean to start in with somebody that never interacted with you. It means to avoid the situation in the first place and stay away from them if you have leery feelings about them. And hey, maybe there's that rare occasion where they prove to be a decent human being that just fell upon bad times, which is a rare occasion, but it's not completely non-existent. It happens. And and in those rare occasions when you discover that, then you're thankful that you didn't start in with the person. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Stay away from people whose presence you're not so trustworthy of. If you have a gut feeling, just steer clear of them. You don't have to scream at them or yell at them if they didn't do anything to you first. But you don't have to interact with them at all. You don't have to bend over backwards just to show you're not racist. Because that's a problem. The problem isn't racism, it's the problem. The problem is people going out of their way to prove that they're not racist. People's day-to-day life should explain whether they're racist or not. Not what they go out of their way to do or not do. And so, I hope you believe in that. And I expect anybody who's a friend of mine to continue to be a friend of mine. I expect people who follow me and liked my past posts and videos to continue following me. Which leads me to this. Come November, Curtis Sliwa is running for mayor of New York City. And you would be stupid not to vote for him. If you vote for anybody else but Curtis Sliwa, you are stupid. And I might not deserve what's coming if somebody other than Curtis Sliwa becomes mayor, but you do. You brought this on yourself, or you will have brought this up on yourself if you vote for anyone other than Curtis Sliwa. You get what you deserve. I won't deserve it, but you will. And that's not picking on you, the viewer. That is just showing some tough love. Like, I'm here to convince you not to fall victim to your own stupid mistakes. That's out of love. And on to my loyal John Crancians, who I love, honor, and respect. Respect God, watch out for the Illuminati. Follow, share, comment, like, subscribe to my channel. Stay strong, keep kicking that slang. It's your boy in the building, hip-hop legend, recording engineer, underground rock and roll hero, MC Too Tall. You be safe out there, yeah?